Hi, welcome to the Kataru presentation. In this presentation, I'm going to show you a way we can automate the testing of Converge application. As in my other presentation, I will still be talking about telephony application, specifically the ones that use SIP as the signaling protocol. Before we get to the point of crafting the automation of our test, we certainly have to start with an understanding of what we will be testing. Therefore, I'm going to start with an explanation of the application I use as the vehicle in this presentation. You can take it as a quick briefing about the requirement of the application. Then, based on the understanding, we will move on to defining the test cases. We're not going to go in depth here with the techniques of designing system test cases for this kind of application. So, we will just settle with a couple of basic or normal use case scenarios. Once we have the test case defined, we ourselves will have to run it. This activity is useful, obviously, to validate the test case. We might learn that we have missed a couple of steps, made several wrong assumptions, etc. Related to the automation, one of the aspects we will have to learn or investigate by manually executing the test case is the data. At the end of the day, I think an application is about consuming, processing, and producing data. So we want to make sure that all the elements involved in the scenario that we're testing are producing and getting the correct data, which implies to some degree that it processed the data correctly. Analyzing how the data is being processed, however, is another topic. We're not going to spend much time on that in this presentation. Assuming that the test case passed, our aim from learning the data is to know for a fact what constitutes the correct data. Of course, ideally, a major part of that knowledge should be obtainable from the requirement or design document. However, there is always a possibility that a couple of details are missing from those places. Hopefully, we will be able to find out about it by manually executing the test cases and doing data inspection. So, in this presentation, I will show you how to obtain the data, specifically the SIP messages, and how to relate them to the steps in the test case. Finally, we compile all that knowledge and transform them into the automation code, and that would be it. The application we will be testing is basically a SIP server that is capable of making a callback to someone. Let's call it party A. Whenever someone else, let's call it party B, is available. Here's the case. Let's suppose there's a person, Alice, who is very excited about an important business opportunity she just identified. She wants to tell her colleague Bob right away on the phone. Bob was busy doing house chores. Being a responsible and honest person, he set his present status to busy. The call from Alice obviously wouldn't get through. Without this application, Alice would hear the ringing tone on her phone, which after 20 or 30 seconds would go away. No call is made. Alice can retry later, of course, as long as she doesn't forget to do it. With this application, Alice would be presented with an IVR that will ask her if she wants to be called back whenever Bob is available to take calls. Let's suppose Alice says yes by pressing a key on her phone to indicate the choice. For Alice, it means one less thing to carry around in her head, like call Bob later today. And that's a relief for her. Now imagine Bob has finished washing the dishes and ready to take calls. He will announce it on the web saying, "Hey guys, I can take calls now." Well, for now, it actually will be as simple as picking available from the list of status in the web page that comes with the application and specifying his SIP array. At the very moment Bob makes that change, the application will establish a call with Alice, play an announcement to her, "Alice, we're going to connect you with Bob now, please stay in line," and then establish another call with Bob, and finally bridge the two calls, resulting in Alice and Bob talking to each other. This application is a good vehicle for these presentations because it has the following characteristic I'd like to show that we can write the automation for, using the tool I will present at the end of this presentation. First, it involves interaction with IVR, and there is a need to pass the DTMF signal from a caller to the application. This is quite common in telephony applications, and we would like to know if the test tool we will be using allows us to do that easily. Secondly, It involves interaction using SIP on the phone, as well as HTTP using the web browser. And furthermore, those two are interlinked. By that I mean, an action performed during a call session on the phone will affect the state of the application, and that can be observed from the other side, the web browser, and vice versa. We will see that the test tool allows us to automate the interaction from both sides.